Gentlemen, this is Vince Miller. Thank you so much for joining me for this devotional. Today we are in Daniel chapter 7. I'm going to read verses 2 through 8. Before I do, can I just encourage you to pick up your Daniel scripture journal today from my website? It's a great way to support the ministry here and these devotionals, of course. You'll notice as you open it, just a single book of the Bible. So this one's Daniel. It's got some text, scripture text on one side, and then journal notes I've taken on the other side. Pick it up yourself as you follow along in the Devo. Great way to support the ministry. But with that, right before we dig into this text today, I need you to know that we're going to read a text that describes a dream that Daniel had. And the dream is prophetic in nature. But before I read the text, I want you to note that this dream is going to speak of 4 empires over hundreds of years. And the 4 empires are the Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire, which were all different in size and strength and power. So now with that, let's read the dream. Daniel declared, "I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea." So he imagines a sea, the wind is blowing, waves are crashing. And then he says, "And 4 great beasts came up out of the sea, different from one another." So 4 different beasts were very different. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. And then as I looked, its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted up from the ground and made to stand on 2 feet like a man. And the mind of a man was given to it. This is clearly representing the Babylonian Empire. And behold, another beast, a second one, was like a bear. It was raised up on one side. So it was kind of this weird, lumpy bear. And it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And it was told, "Arise and devour much flesh." So there's your Medo-Persian Empire. And then I looked, and behold, another, like a leopard, with 4 wings of a bird on its back. And the beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. This representing the Greek Empire. And then after this, I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, terrifying and dreadful, exceedingly strong. The Roman Empire, of course. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke into pieces and stamped what was left with its feet. It was different from all the other beasts that were before it. It had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another horn, a little one, before which the first horns were plucked up by its roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes, like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Very interesting vision here, of course, and a lot is happening in this vision. But today I want to step back from the details of the vision and the text and notice a greater theme here. That is this. In this world, there are things that we see and things that we don't see. Daniel sees a very specific vision of the future, and it's not just his future. It is the vision of 4 empires over hundreds and hundreds of years that are going to extend into the time of Jesus. So here's an application for you today. In our time, we're tempted to look at events only from a natural perspective. We see natural occurrences and we interpret them only as natural occurrences. We do this all the time. I do it. But God is showing Daniel that while he considers things that are happening in his day, like events and empires and regimes and changes, that there's something supernaturally at play. That there's a story playing out that he cannot see, that he does not see. Therefore, God gives Daniel just enough of a glimpse to let him know that he's got this, and that during that last empire, there's going to be something great that's going to happen. Gentlemen, I want to encourage you today to look at the natural events and occurrences of your day spiritually. Don't spiritualize everything, but take a moment to look at maybe an encounter or a challenge from a supernatural perspective, not just a natural one. And then remind yourself that God is actually up to something in those events. That God has a story that he's writing and he's communicating and he's showing to each one of us. And the story in his vision is way better than the one that we see naturally. And then you know what you need to do? You just need to trust him, because in his vision, salvation is coming. It is coming and has come in his Son, Jesus Christ, the Lord. So today, consider, what is that encounter or challenge that you need to see from a spiritual perspective? And see it differently today. And if you feel brave, share it in the comments below. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me. I pray this has blessed you. And with that, I'll see you right back here again tomorrow.